What caused the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings? You might be surprised, but some people claim it was video games. There are scientists that conduct research in this area, trying to explain the impact of mass media on individuals and society. They even have a name for it: media effects. Three of the major research methods used in media effects are public opinion polls, social psychology studies, and uses and gratifications model. Now let's talk about the public opinion polls. So it's usually done in three different ways. First, man on the street interviews with random selection of people out in public. Second, phone-in polls, for example, sending a text to vote for which American Idol contestant you like best. And finally, internet surveys, often used for instant polls during sporting events. Now, these types of public opinion polls are heavily criticized by serious social scientists, primarily because they really aren't representative of American society. Social psychology studies differ from public opinion polls because they're trying to measure how people behave and process information. For example, one study found that fast paced television shows have made children less able to concentrate. Other researchers follow the uses and gratifications model. This type of research is more concerned with why people use the media instead of its effect on society. And they assume that people seek out media that satisfies specific needs. So the general public would choose to watch something that would gratify a need and not necessarily something that would inform or educate them. Maybe you've heard of the term scientific method in some of your other classes. I assume you did. When scientists conduct research, it must be objective and reliable, and media analysts are no different. Let's talk about experiments, for instance. So, experiments are effective for conducting cause and effect research, and you've probably heard about the Bobo doll experiment because it's a famous experiment. And it's famous because psychologists were trying to determine the effect of television violence on children. I provided a YouTube link for you to actually view the experiment and see how a child's behavior changes when they come in contact with violence. Another tool used by researchers is content analysis, which is simply a method of tracking trends in the media. And I have personally used this method quite a lot, especially I've used it on my dissertation, wanting to understand how we can see the effect of media through understanding content. With all the research that's been done in the area of media effects, it would make sense that patterns would occasionally appear. So in this video, we're going to take a look over three of the most significant ones: minimal effects model, agenda setting, and cultivation effect. The minimal effects model works in the fact that researchers feel that media messages simply reinforce our behavior and beliefs. So they assume that media have a minimal effect on the audience. They don't believe that the media alter the behavior of an individual because the values and beliefs of an individual have already been formed, and the media would not necessarily change them. The selective retention model is when viewers only remember messages that are in line with their own beliefs. So it's very similar to the uses and gratifications. People try to only watch things that gratify them or confirm their own beliefs. And the general audience is selective in the way of consuming media and retaining media. And finally, agenda setting. It assumes that if the mass media focuses on an issue, society will focus on that same issue as well. So, in effect, the media is telling us what to think about, not necessarily how to think about certain things, but what to think on those certain things. Now, cultivation theory suggests that exposure to media over time subtly cultivates viewers' perceptions of reality. So the more you come in contact with certain media, the more you listen to those perspectives or beliefs or patterns, then there's a greater chance for you to actually believe those perceptions and accept them as reality. Now, Killing Us Softly is a documentary that was first released in 1979, and since it's been revised and updated 4 different times. The documentary focuses on images of women in advertising, in particular on gender stereotypes, the effect of advertising on women's self-image. So I suggest, if you have some time, to take a look over this documentary and see how is the media educating young girls on the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they fix their hair, what they should look like, how they should act, and try to analyze and probably see, does the media truly educate values, educate beliefs and standards? How is the media affecting you? How is the media affecting society per se?